Thanks to our great sponsors, Jack Burford Chevrolet, ExpressRoofing.net, Cumberland Valley National Bank, CSEP, State Farm Insurance, Jerry Goble Agent, Luxury Pet Services, Equipment, Sales and Rentals, May Marketing, KYmedia.net, Real Life Community Church, Time Warner Cable, and Madison County Schools.
Welcome to the Coach Center Show. Hi, I'm Samantha Burford with Madison County School Sports Television. We want you to watch the Coach Mark Center Show.
We look forward to seeing you on Madison County School Sports Television.
Welcome back to the Coach Center Show. I'm Samantha Burford. We're here at Jack Burford Chevrolet. We take over their facilities and we have a good time taking a few, hits out of the pop machine. And at least I do. You don't really, but I kind of take a few things. Oh yeah, you got your water over there. So we are very thankful to have them, and we are more than thankful to have Coach Centers with us tonight. I'm bringing you good luck. That's what I'm telling everybody. You guys are on a streak, and it's because we're having some of these great shows.
Absolutely.
We'll take it, right?
I'll take any, like I was saying before, anything to keep the mojo going. Let's just keep on rolling.
Let's just do it.
Hard work and good Lord's blessings. We'll
That's
take
right.
it every chance we get.
That's right. Well, you know I'm kidding about the other, but let's talk about Tate's Creek.
Yeah.
Because you guys had a really dominating win. That could be the word. I want to say you guys really attacked this team.
Yeah, we came out hot. I mentioned in the paper, probably the most complete game that we played all year to this point. And, hopefully that's more where that came from. I mean, that's exactly the type of football that we want to play. And our kids came out ready. And no question, the open week helped us to be able to be prepared for that game. And,
I was going to ask you about that.
Right start.
Yeah, you had an extra week in there, being a bye week.
Yeah.
What did you do different other than did you focus on this one game, or did you move on and think, okay, next we're going to move into Lafayette too a little?
Yeah, we definitely stayed focused on the Tates Creek game coming out of the open week, and that's kind of our mode. We wanted to use the open week to give ourselves a head start on district play for sure. But the focus is always on the next game.
The one game.
So yeah, we didn't look ahead, and both teams had the benefit of coming off an open week. The Tates Creek was open the previous week as well, and that's also one of the things that contributed to making it good for both teams to move the game to the Thursday night, because Fayette County was also on fall break. So
right.
Everything worked out in those times. So they had the same amount of preparation time that we did. And,
yes.
And I do think that it was good for our kids. I think that our kids took advantage of not only the open week and the time off that was brought with the open week, but also the extra work that we got. So we benefited from a couple of extra work days for sure, and benefited from a couple of extra rest days, and all of that I think plays into it for sure. But we hope that this is another step in the process of getting better each week, and again, definitely the most complete game that we played on all three sides of the ball. But there has to be more where that came from, and without question, we're going to have to raise the game even further with Lafayette coming up.
Right. Well, the final score of the game was 50-14. So, your thoughts on a Thursday night? I know you had the bye week, but it was kind of nice to have a Thursday night game. Give your coaches and you had a little one extra day to prepare for Lafayette.
Right.
And you had the fan support. They showed up even though it was fall break. You had parents and students. It's kind of nice.
It was. It was fun, and I feel like everyone kind of enjoyed the atmosphere. The game night was a very good crowd. It seemed to be, and of course our kids enjoyed a little bit more exposure because in our region there was only our game and then the big district game in Lexington with Bryan Station. I believe it was Bryan Station that was playing that night. But, two local games, both district games,
right.
Gave people a good choice, and then gave people a chance to get out to some other games on Friday night, my staff included. We utilized that to go scout a little bit and do some things. And
do you know if they came here and scouted you?
Oh, yeah, without question.
Yeah, I think they did too.
Alex Rising over at 36, even tweeted some pictures out of the Lafayette kids and the quarterback Walker Wood on the sideline and things like that. So
yeah, they were here.
They of course,
and you were there.
It was an opportunity for them to see both Tates Creek and us, and
Right.
of course we took the same opportunity to go see them in GRC the following night. So that's going to happen when you're playing on opposite nights, and that's okay.
Yeah,
But
it's expected.
Sure it is. Yeah, but. Playing on the Thursday night was fun. I prefer, the Friday night lights is the traditional thing, and that's all good. But it was neat to play on a different night. And like I said, the biggest thing was the fans showed up, and it gave and probably the best thing is it gave our kids an opportunity to actually get a little bit of enjoyment out of fall break, which is difficult for fall sports kids. Of all football, basketball, soccer, band, all those fall sports, it's tough for kids to get an opportunity to enjoy fall break like their peers, and so it gave them an opportunity to have that too. So all in all, it worked out well, and we of course, most importantly, we were thankful to come out with a huge district win.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to add, you had the cheerleaders there. They were there in full staff. You had the dance team was there, and the band performed.
Right.
So you had a lot of wide variety of parents, not only the football parents there. So it was nice to be able to see them all there to support you guys.
Certainly, and I think it probably even worked out well for the band because they got an opportunity to put on a performance there at halftime, at least part of their show, and then of course they had their huge weekend
Saturday
setting up, and that allowed the stadium to be clear and clean for them to start their setup on Friday night.
Right.
So, thankfully things just worked out, and when all of us are trying to work together to share facilities and things like that, sometimes it's really tough, and so thankfully I think it worked out well for everyone involved, and I know they had it seemed to have a very, very successful competition this weekend with the band, and just happy for those kids that they got a chance to show off too. So it was good. It was a good night and a good weekend for sure.
Now, you mentioned sharing the facilities. Right now, you guys are sharing with soccer because they've got their district tournament going on. So how are you rearranging, or are you, your practice schedule?
Well, we've had to abbreviate a few things. We've had to be off the field early this week, which certainly it is probably more of an adjustment on my coach's part as much as anything, and just trying to get the material taught and instructed and get all the reps that the kids need in a compact amount of time. Kids probably think we coaches are going a little bit berserk because we're pushing them, trying to get them out on the field as early as we possibly can.
Yeah, don't be lollygagging. Let's get out there.
Our trainer, who is doing a phenomenal job, her and the volunteer staff she has come from Eastern, and where coaches. The old gray-headed guy's a little bit more intense this week about getting people taped and out on the field and things like that. So
you kind of have to be.
Probably it's been more like, say, the coaches and folks putting up with me being a little bit on edge as more than anything. But it's worked out well. We were able to get off the field in time for them to have their full warm-up time, and so I think it's worked out okay. Clearly, we'd love the opportunity to just
you'd keep them out there all night long.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's certainly no shortage of things that we need to cover, but our kids have done a good job digesting the game plan and the practice time, and we've made good use of the practice time that we have had, and done a pretty good job.
Now, you mentioned earlier the Channel 36 gentleman there. You guys are the spotlight team of the week coming up for this game. You guys are 6-1 right now, so everyone is already kind of moved past the Tates Creek game.
Right.
We will get into all that, but they're talking about your game this Friday night. That's going to be, they're calling it the district championship game, even though it's in regular season.
Right. Well, I guess in some part it's a de facto district championship game. The way everything sets up, if we were to win, then we would hold the tiebreaker over both Tates Creek and Lafayette. So even if we were to get beat by GRC, we would have the tiebreaker over those two. So if we win, then it would be locked up for us. If the game goes the other way, there's still some ways that it could happen, and 2- and 3-way ties. Tates Creek would have to beat Lafayette and things like that. So, it's always good. I feel like when your destiny's in your own hands. And we've got an opportunity to go out against the team that has been the dominant team in our district now for a few years. and we have an opportunity to go out and prove ourselves one more week. And you know, people are still kind of questioning, you know, hey, what's this Madison Central team about? And you know, we've you know, so far we've answered a lot of those questions, and we've answered a lot of those calls. And you know, like I said, like I mentioned, it's just been a huge blessing. The kids are playing well, and every week they go out and compete. And you know, it's a good position to be in right now.
Right.
And going into just a huge game. You know, Lafayette's loaded with you know, I think they got 3 or 4 kids with D1 offers on their team, and certainly several more who are going to have the opportunity to play college ball. You know, Coach Shaw, with his experience at Florida State and Louisiana Tech in college, and then playing with the Bengals, he brings a wealth of experience. His staff is really strong, and you know, they're a really, really good football team for a reason. They're well coached, they're great athletes, and you can't say enough good things about Lafayette. But you know, hopefully, you know, folks are taking notice that Madison Central is a pretty good football team too, and we hope to continue building on that and playing well, because that's what it comes down to, is the players playing well on
both
the game
sides.
night.
Yes.
Both
Offense
special
and
teams.
defense. That's right.
Yep, and we're going to need those. You know, mention the complete performance against Stage Creek, and we're going to need, you know, more complete performances, and even raise that level to continue to go where we want to go.
So if you can continue to score on defense and score on special teams like last Friday night, I think
really
you're going to do all right.
Yeah, that really helps. Anytime you get a chance to put points on the board, well, you know,
that's the bonus.
Yeah, for sure.
That's like icing on the cake right there.
Yes.
All right, let's get to some of the nitty gritty, because that's really exciting, and we want to compliment some you guys. I got a whole list of gentlemen that we can talk about, athletes, but we want to talk about your defense first.
Okay.
And let's talk about how you guys held Tates Creek to just 168 yards.
Right. They had a couple of big plays. You know, honestly, most of those yards came on a couple of completions. They're a big-time passing offense, and they have 2 receivers that, in my opinion, are 2 as good receivers as anybody in the state. You know, our guys got after them. We covered pretty well, and you know, up front our defensive line and guys were able to get after their quarterback and kind of rattle, you know, maybe their timing off a little bit. And you know, they were true to form. They really stuck with their guns, and they kept trying to throw the ball down the field to those receivers. And fortunately, our guys kept making plays, and we were in pretty good position and benefited from some incompletions on their part too. So. You know, but that's a big thing. You know, I think that was very important, holding their passing offense, you know, somewhat in check. You know, 168 yards is a good night for a lot of the teams, but for Tates Creek, they were averaging, you know, almost 270. So you know, that was definitely a slow night for them. And again, most of those yards came on a couple of receptions. So a really good night for our defense. You know, and really, you know, the running game, I think they ended up with 100 yards rushing on the night, but I think a lot of those came on their last 2 series after the clock was running. So, you know, it was a very, very solid performance by our defense against a very, very potent offense.
Let's talk about Tristan Moorhead. He had that interception in return for a touchdown.
Yeah.
That was pretty exciting.
Yeah, that was big. Had a convoy going in, a lot of guys out in front, and, you know, that's something that Coach could take so much pride in. You know, all of our defense staff, but you know, we've got a couple of drills that we do for turnover drills in particular, that to try to, you know, encourage those guys, when you get an opportunity to do something with it, go take it. And they have a lot of fun with it in practice, but it's a whole lot more fun in the game. And
yes.
So he had several guys leading the way down to the end zone for him, had a nice clear path, and was able to make a play.
Yeah. And Moorhead, we talk about him about every show. I mean, he's definitely got to be one of your leaders on this team.
Yeah, he's having a real nice year. Of course, you know, he stepped up last year and really kind of solidified himself last year, and definitely this year has continued that. And you know, he's working hard. He worked extremely hard in the off season to get himself prepared. And you know, a great student, you know, a super student, got 3.97, I think, GPA. I think most of his coursework is AP classes. And, you know,
so he's not taking the bunny classes.
No. I mean, he really is. Yeah. You know, smart on the field, smart off the field, and a hard worker in all phases. He's done a real nice job. Getting a couple of college looks. He's possibly interested in engineering. And Rose Holman out of Indiana, one of the best engineering schools this side of the Mississippi is showing some interest in him, and I think he's reciprocated that. So, you know, I mean, he's going to have some opportunity in front of him, but it's kind of cool that he's having, you know, that's one of those kids. His academics are going to take him so far. He's going to be successful at whatever he chooses to do, but maybe have an opportunity to play a little ball in college as well. And I know he's excited about that. So
Yes.
good stuff on that end.
Let's talk about some special teams. I mean, Landon White had some really nice kicks.
Yeah.
A really long one, that 36-yard field goal, which we know he's done longer than that.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Well, and just near missed on a couple of others.
Yeah.
But honestly, had a very good night, and his kickoffs were just booming. It was well over 500 yards on the kickoffs for the night, and I think 7 touchbacks or something like that. He had a huge night on kickoffs, and that's another thing that really played well into helping our defense. You know, our defense started in fantastic field position all night long because of those kickoffs, and then
I was
they turned
going there.
around, and our offense started in fantastic field position all night long because our defense got stops and put us in great field position. And
yes,
you know,
and that's all thanks to him. Because
it certainly helped.
Yeah, when your offense gets on the field or your defense gets on the field, especially your defense,
Right.
it's thanks to him.
Yep, that starting field position is very key because, you know, I mean, when you have an opportunity to have the team start at the 20, you know, every time, that's a big deal. And, you know, the offense has got a little work to do to get out of that position. And again, you know, defense getting stops and turning the ball over to us, our offense in good field position. You know, we had a good night yardage wise, but you know, when you see a team put up you know, that many points, you kind of expect the yardage to kind of be off the charts, and our yardage was very strong, but it wasn't just like mind-blowing or anything. It was because our defense put us on short field just about all night long, and we were able to capitalize on that. So,
Right.
But you know, I felt like we executed well. You know, Keenan Miller had probably the best night that he's had.
I was getting ready to
in his
say,
career.
all my list is mostly about Miller.
Yeah, and you know, and that Keenan Miller is a game changer. That Keenan Miller can play football at a very, very high level in college. When he goes on the attack and plays aggressively the way that he did, it really changes things. You know, I mean, he went up and caught a couple of balls that you know, it maybe a year or so ago that he was just kind of waiting on that play to be made, and now he aggressively went
Goes
after
up and
that
gets
play
it.
and made it. And that's the difference between making a play and making a play,
Right.
You know, and he's you
He's
know,
got some experience under his
Yeah.
belt, and a difference in a younger athlete compared to you know, more.
Absolutely, and he's, you know, he's played a lot since his sophomore year, but you know, he's really getting comfortable in that wide receiver role, and seeing him be able to do that was just super exciting. And because I you know, I know how badly he wants to be successful, and for him to be able to have that kind of performance again, it makes us from a dangerous offense to offense that really can play at a different level, and that's exciting to see. And of course, the better he plays, you know, the more that's going to open up opportunities for other guys, because the defenses are going to have to pay more and more attention to him, and so that can open it up for our running game. It can open it up for our other receivers, and it certainly gives us the ability to let Zach put the ball in there and have guys go make plays.
Yes, and I enjoyed what he said in the Richmond Register. You know, he said, I knew I could jump, I could get up there and do it, and I went for it.
Right.
You know, he took
And
the
that's
ball.
that confidence that he's starting to have, and you know, and you know me, and one of the most important things that I want our players to do, I want them to be confident, but I want them to be humble. But that, you know, and that comment, I think, demonstrates the confidence that he's starting to have in himself. But because, you know, just because you're humble doesn't mean you don't believe in yourself. In fact, it's kind of just the opposite. You know, understanding that you've been granted that ability and being able to use it is your gift back. So, you know, it's just, I think our kids are starting to kind of believe that and be confident in themselves while not being, hopefully, over the top, arrogant, or cocky.
Right.
And you know, that's what we want. We want them to be confident and humble, and just understand that they've got an opportunity in front of them, and hard work's got what's got them here, and hard work's what's going to keep them going.
Not spiking the ball afterwards or any kind of.
Yeah, we won't do that.
Right.
If we do, it won't happen.
I was going to say, I don't see your kids doing it.
If we do that, it won't happen many times.
Right.
I'm sure it won't happen, so.
Yes. Well, let's just talk about his first drive. I mean, when you guys went down the field, first drive, Keenan Miller caught that 31-yard touchdown pass. So, I mean, you went right after it, right? Beginning of the game. Set the precedence right there.
Yep. Yeah, great to get out of the gate quickly, and then again, like you said, it got things going and got everybody involved early.
Right. Now I'm going to talk about Zach Harden. He was 10 for 13 for 195 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yep. Good night. She spread the ball around, hit receivers where they're supposed to be. The ball that he threw to Everly down on the end zone closest to the school was just a really, really good ball. It was in a place that Christian could make a play, or it was going to be incomplete. And that, just really nice ball. Christian did a great job of making a play.
That was like 3 minutes later, right after Miller's.
Yeah, and again, it just, the momentum had started to build at that point.
What do you think is the difference this year with Zach Harden compared to last year?
Just a more mature Zach. Just, he's another year older, another year stronger. Another year more comfortable in our offense and understanding, what we're looking for and understanding what he's capable of. And he continues to learn how to play the game from the quarterback position well. That quarterback position is not an easy position to play. Every kid who's ever picked up a football and had the desire to play would love to play quarterback in their mind. But then when it comes time to step back behind that line and be a quarterback,
can you handle the pressure
and do the things that a quarterback is asked to do, and because there's a lot more to quarterback than just standing back there in shotgun catching the ball and throwing it. The timing of the plays and setting the plays off at the correct time and sending the motions and all the various checks and reads that he has to be able to make at the line of
all while
scrimmage.
people are trying to tackle him.
All while people want to kill him.
And the blind side coming in.
So it's I think I've always said it takes a special guy to be a football player, and I think each individual position has its own nuances that makes it a very important job and a very not a very easy thing to do. But Zach's doing a great job, and I think as he continues to gain confidence in himself, he has all the tools. He's got a great arm, and he's doing a fantastic job of leading our team and leading our offense. And just again, it's a lot easier for him to have confidence when he sees his receivers go making plays. It's a lot easier for our guys to go make plays when he's putting the ball where he's putting it, and just all of those things going together. And most importantly, you don't want to forget those guys up front that are blocking their tail off for him, because those guys are just doing a fantastic job.
I hate to say that on the ground floor doing the grunt work, but they kind of are.
That's the most.
They're making it happen.
That's right. Typically, that's the most important jobs. More times than not, the guys doing the work, that type of work, are the most important guys on the field. And football's no question. Offensive lineman is one of the hardest positions. Of course, my heart's always going to be with offensive linemen, because that's the position that I coached for so many years. But those guys.
Well, and they don't get the glory for it.
That's right.
They really don't. We're not talking about them typically.
The only time you ever hear offensive linemen is if something goes wrong, more times than not. Watch a game on Saturday, watch a game on Sunday. You might, one or two offensive linemen might get a little bit of pub, but until then, you're not going to see it unless somebody throws a flag on them. But that is also the thing that I think good offensive linemen take pride in. That blue collar work ethic, that side of it, that we're the ones who get it done, and we don't care who gets the credit. We just want to get it done.
It's for the team.
That's exactly right, and the bond that they have not only with one another, which is always great. You can always tell offensive linemen with that bond that they have, that's a real key piece in looking at how good a team's going to be. But Danny Thompson at center, Nathan Britt and Blake Setzer at guard, and then Drake Harris, a sophomore, and Blake Hammonds, we call him, more referred to as Lunchbox. But
we have talked about him.
But he, what a great kid he is, and just those five guys, and then Chase Brzezinski is our one of our main guys. If we need to rest a guy, or if we've got a guy so we can plug Chase in and bump some folks around, and a lot of other younger guys that are developing. But those guys are our main six right now, and a lot of guys that are developing behind them and growing into that role, that are going to fill roles coming up. But all of those guys, we got a really strong group of linemen, and they are doing just a fantastic job.
They really are. It seems to be clicking right now. Yeah, I think I might have said that last time, but it just seems to be clicking. Because early on in the season, we kept joking, okay, coach, you guys got to score in the first quarter.
Yeah.
That was like my saying. Like, you're going to know that when you finally score in the first quarter, you're going to go, oh, yeah, Samantha's going to be excited.
Yeah.
But you're doing it.
Yeah.
It's working.
Yeah, well, and I mean, there's a lot to it. We're gonna have to keep clicking for sure. I mean, that's one of the most important things that we can do. You know, just try to keep going and try to keep the everything rolling the way that it is, because you know we do feel like that this team has an opportunity to continue to do special things. We feel
Right.
like this team has an opportunity to perhaps leave a legacy, and you know the early part of the season is important, and October is where you kind of start setting yourself up, and November is where you really start, you know, hopefully establishing that legacy.
I know you're not a ranking guy. You don't want to talk about the rankings because you don't put any emphasis on that. We take it game by game, but it is important. Like I mentioned earlier, you guys are 6-1, so the guys have to be really proud about that, and it just seems like every week gets better.
Right. Well, and again, you know that the record side of it, you know, is certainly important to us.
Yeah.
And
Because
you
you're
know,
not playing easy teams.
No, and then the more games we win, the more confidence they get, and you know they've been working for this for a really long time. So that sense of accomplishment certainly is building, and you know being able to see those the reap the rewards of all that hard work that they've been putting in. And, you know, and like I say, you know, the seniors are now at the point where they're starting to see, hey, this thing's winding down. We don't have that many more Friday nights left.
Right.
And you know, you don't realize how fast it moves until it's over with. And you know, we coaches can say that all our lives, and you know, the kids get tired of hearing it until all of a sudden one day it's after their senior year and they don't have football anymore.
Right. It's like, now what do we do?
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, all of those pieces going in and the work that the kids are doing, all of that's starting to come together. But again, you know, work's what got us here, and work's what's going to keep us going. And we have some huge games in front of us. You know, certainly Lafayette being the first of many. We
Yes.
feel like as the regular season winds down and again the playoffs begin, because certainly, you know, we hope to make a run come November.
Yes, absolutely. We're all hoping for that as well. Knowing that this offense is clicking, do you typically make all the plays and call them in, or do you let Zach handle a few and go with it and it's what's planned?
Coach Jones, Ryan Jones, is our offensive coordinator, and of course from a play calling standpoint, he is the play caller, primary play caller.
Okay.
It all runs through Ryan. You know, we've worked together for so long now that many times we're already thinking on the same wavelength, and that's a great comfort to have, and that's a luxury that I have, and I truly know what a blessing that is to have guys like Ryan Jones and Tim Kirk and several of our other coaches, but my two coordinators. You know, we've been working together for so long, and those guys have just been so good for so long that we, you know, I mean, both of them are far more important than anything that I can do. I do a lot of management stuff, but those guys are just crazy important with what they do, and you know, so but you know, if there's something that I see and I want, I'll just tell him on the radio, hey, we need to look for this. And Goldie is actually wearing, my offensive line coach is wearing the headset, and he is right with Coach Jones, so he's kind of my communicator. So you know, if there's something that we need to get, or there's something I want to see, I'll just tell them, and we'll get it in.
Because I see you take it off and on.
The
headsets.
Yeah,
you're moving them.
I'm fidgety. I can't because I have to be able to hear and know what's going on, but I can't stand that thing in my face, and it's just.
But you want to be able to hear your players.
Yeah, I'm real.
So
I'm real
taking
fidgety.
it off.
So I want to be able to communicate with my players, but I've got to be able to communicate with them. So yeah, I've.
It's like a necessary evil.
Yeah. Portaphone probably loves me because they get to recondition my headset every year.
And fix it every season, if not every other game.
Yeah.
I see that.
But then, you know, we've got a few things where, you know, a lot of our plays, you know, Zach's got some checks and some reads built in, so he's got some ownership of it too on the field. But you know, it's also a pretty consistent system.
Right. All right. Sounds good. What else do we need to talk about? I know we've talked about Lafayette this Friday night. I think it's important to make sure that we tell the fans they have to come to this game.
Oh yeah. I would love to see a big crowd go up to Lafayette Friday night. You know, obviously there's a lot on the line, you know, for us, you know, as far as short-term goals. you know, a district championship is always one of our preseason goals, and we have an opportunity to get that. You know, Lafayette's not going to turn loose of that district championship easily. You know, they've had it the last few years, and certainly they want to keep it, and they have an extremely talented bunch. So, you know, by all means, it's going to be a battle. We fully expect it to be a very, very good football game. My hope is that, you know, we're pretty healthy going in, and we get the guys who we've got banged up healthy and ready to play, and we're able to put a good product on the field and go out there and go to work. And you know, like any Friday night, you know, we're going to try to go play our best and bring home a win. And you know, it in the grand scheme of things, there's always going to be next week, but this one sure is a big one.
It is. It really is. It's pretty exciting. You know, there's like 2 or 3 of our elementary schools having their fall festivals Friday night. And I'm like,
Really?
why is this happening? Because we all want to come watch your game.
It happens. You know,
There's just not enough Friday nights.
there's so
for
many
schools.
things going on. That's right. There's so many things going
Yeah.
on, and those things, you know, those things are so important. It's the best thing that I can say is that it makes me excited and happy to see so many people, kids involved, and getting involved with their schools and getting involved with their communities. There'll be plenty of Friday nights for them.
There will be.
Yeah.
There will be. But we got to tell everybody, parents, grandparents, you got to come to this game. It will be amazing. If you can't make it to the game, follow us on Twitter because we're going to be tweeting it out. It's going to be pretty exciting. And Coach, we wish you the best.
Thank you.
Every week, what do I do?
Yep. There you go.
I'm going to keep our ritual going.
Okay.
All right.
That's good.
All right. Thank you for watching, and we're looking forward. We won't have a coach's show next week because we usually do it after home games, so
Yep,
it will be
2 weeks out after
Yeah.
GRC and senior night, and a big night. Got about, I think, 24 seniors that we'll
Right.
be honoring. So big night.
And then we'll have Southern.
Yep.
So you got a few games coming up, pretty important.
Well, like I say, they're all big.
That's right. That's right. All right. Thank you for watching.
Thanks to our great sponsors, Jack Burford Chevrolet, ExpressRoofing.net, Cumberland Valley National Bank, CSEP, State Farm Insurance, Jerry Goble Agent, Luxury Pet Services, Equipment, Sales and Rentals, May Marketing, KYmedia.net, Real Life Community Church, Time Warner Cable, and Madison County Schools. Hey everybody, be a friend of Madison County School Sports Television on Facebook. MCS TV on Facebook. Log on and like us now.
Hello everyone, I'm Madison County Schools Superintendent Elmer Thomas, and I want to thank you for watching Madison County School Sports Television.
Follow Madison County School Sports Television on Twitter. Or like us on Facebook, MCS TV. And of course, watch all of our videos on YouTube.